June Air systems are used in a variety of applications and provide years of reliable service. Proper preventative maintenance procedures using genuine June Air replacement parts eliminates unplanned downtime, avoids costly repairs, and provides trouble-free performance. By following the step-by-step instructions in this video, the recommended maintenance procedures for this product are simple for anyone to conduct. Additionally, June Air has a network of authorized service centers that can conduct the recommended maintenance as well as more in-depth service procedures on your products if necessary. Before starting the recommended maintenance on your product, contact your local June Air distributor with the model number and request the appropriate service parts that fit your unit. A list of June Air distributors and authorized service centers can be found on the June Air website. Before conducting any maintenance on your June Air product, make sure that it has been properly isolated from the electrical power supply and that the air pressure in the system has been relieved by pulling the ring on the pressure safety valve. Always wear suitable clothing, eye protection, and safety shoes when servicing your product. Refer to the June Air Operation and Maintenance Manual for detailed safety instructions. This video covers the following preventive maintenance procedures for your 87R system: compressor intake filter, compressor service kit, filter regulator filter element, non-return valve cleaning component replacement, and drain bottle maintenance. You will need a few tools to perform this maintenance: Torx style screwdrivers, T15, T20, and T25, 2 adjustable wrenches, a torque wrench, and a flathead screwdriver. Additionally, while performing the compressor maintenance, Loctite 222 will be required. Let's get started. The drain bottle can be attached to the handle of your June Air system and is used to collect any liquids that come out of the auto drain from the filter regulator and from the electric auto drain on the receiver. The bottle should be emptied before the liquid level reaches the max level line on the bottle. Push the tabs in on both sides of the drain bottle. Slide the clear plastic bottle out of the black plastic cover. Empty and replace. The frequency of emptying will be dependent on operating environment and system usage. If the bottle is not staying attached to the lid, then the plastic tabs may not be fully engaged. Verify the bottle tabs click into the drain bottle lid. The compressor intake filter is located on the intake port of the compressor head and prevents dust and debris from entering the compressor. The compressor intake filter should be inspected every 2,000 hours or every 6 months, whichever occurs first. Looking at the filter, twist the cover counterclockwise 1/4 turn and pull it off. Check the filter element for excessive debris and replace if necessary. To replace the filter, remove the old felt element and discard. Place the new felt element in the same location as the old one. Plugged filters restrict inlet airflow and increase the operating temperature of the unit, which can reduce life expectancy. If the June Air system is running more often than normal, it could be due to a clogged intake filter. Replacing the intake filter as previously described, the system will return to normal running cycle. The filter regulator is connected to the outlet line of the system and regulates airflow out of the tank to the end-use application. The function of the regulator is to allow the customer to dial in the pressure that is needed for his system. There is normally 120 psi or 8 bar in the tank when fully charged. By turning the adjustable knob clockwise, the outgoing line pressure from the tank can be increased. By turning the knob counterclockwise, the outgoing line pressure can be reduced. By turning the knob all the way counterclockwise, the airflow from the tank can be turned off. The filter portion of the filter regulator is used to remove any impurities, such as water, from condensation or cup dust material from the outlet airline. A 5-micron element is installed to trap material or condensate. The filter regulator element should be replaced every 2,000 hours or 6 months, whichever occurs first. To replace the element, first disconnect the drain bottle hose from the rapid fitting on the bottom of the filter regulator. Rotate the filter regulator 180 degrees by loosening the lock nut. Remove the filter bowl. Remove the filter element holder by turning the element assembly along the deflector and gaskets. Pliers may be required initially to turn the element holder. Install the new filter element, deflector, and gaskets. Attach the element holder and finger tighten. Screw the bowl into the body until hand tight. Return the filter regulator to its upright position and tighten the lock nut. Reconnect the drain bottle hose to the rapid fitting. Apply pressure to the system and check for leaks. The non-return valve is located on the tank and prevents air from backfeeding out of the tank into the compressor when the system is turned off. The non-return valve should be serviced every 2,000 hours or every 6 months, whichever occurs first. While supporting the manifold assembly, disconnect the steel braided hoses and remove the non-return valve. Disassemble the valve and remove the O-rings from the body and piston and the spring from the piston housing. Clean the internal components of the valve and reassemble with the new spring and O-ring. Reinstall the valve in the system. If air continuously purges out of the unloader valve after the unit has turned off, the non-return valve needs to be taken apart and cleaned or replaced. The pressure switch is the device that checks the pressure in the tank at all times and then tells the unit when to turn on and off. The switch is preset at the factory to turn on at approximately 87 psi or 6 bar and off at 120 psi or 8 bar. On and off pressures can be seen on the tank pressure gauge. If the unit does not turn on at the proper setting, or if the unit constantly runs and will not turn off, then the switch may need to be adjusted or replaced. The unloader valve is located under the pressure switch, and its function is to purge any air that is left between the compressor head and the non-return valve on the tank after the system is turned off. The valve will unload the compressor at the end of each on cycle. If the valve sticks in an open position, then air will continuously purge out of the unloader and pressure will not build up in the tank. If the valve sticks in a closed position, then the pump will not restart and the compressor's thermal overload may trip the circuit breaker that the system is attached to. The valve should be replaced at this point. The tank auto drain is located on the tank and is wired into the pressure switch. It is activated when the unit is turned on. The auto drain has a timer and a test button. The timer dial should be set at 15 minutes, which will drain the tank every 15 minutes for approximately 0.3 seconds. Every so often, it's a good idea to press the test button and hold it in to confirm the auto drain is working correctly. If excessive amounts of condensate are noticed in the outlet air line or purging from the filter regulator, then the solenoid auto drain may require replacement or a drain tube may be clogged or defective. The compressor should be serviced every 8,000 hours or every 2 years, whichever occurs first. To do so, start by noting the orientation of the head ports on the pump so that the head covers will be reinstalled correctly. Now, using a T25 Torx drive, carefully remove the 2 heads and 8 head bolts, noting their position on the pump. Carefully set aside the heads until needed for reassembly. Mark the orientation of the valve plate and remove. Remove and discard the old cups, retainer screws, cylinder O-rings, head O-rings, cylinders, valves, and intake valve retainers, keeping the valve screws and retainer plates. Place the new cylinder over the connecting rods on the compressor. Install the new cups on the rods facing up and reinstall the retainer plates using a T20 Torx drive bit. Apply 1 drop of a thread locking compound, such as Loctite 222, to the retainer screws. Torque the screws to 50 inch-pounds or 5.6 Newton-meters. Clean the valve plate with a water-based solvent. Take care to not scratch the valve seats. Install the valves and valve retainers. Reinstall the valve limiter on the exhaust side of the valve plate. Prior to exhaust valve installation, using your thumb and middle finger, gently flex the valve to find its natural inner curve. Place the valve on the valve seat with the natural inner curve face down. The valve will only work correctly when the inner curve faces down on the valve seat. Apply 1 drop of a thread locking compound, again Loctite 222 can be used, to the valve retainer screws and torque the screws to 10 to 13 inch-pounds or 1.1 to 1.5 Newton-meters. Note the location of the notch on the intake valve retainer. Place the valve retainer with the sharp side up and the notch away from the valve. Install the cylinder O-rings in the bottom of the valve plate. Check that the orientation of the valve plate is correct to the ports. Install the head O-rings in the O-ring grooves on top of the valve plate. Reinstall the heads over the valve plate, checking that the orientation with the ports is correct. Torque the head bolts to 50 inch-pounds or 5.6 Newton-meters. The system pump-up time can be tested to verify that the compressor is functioning properly. To do this and also test the safety valve, gently pull the ring on the safety valve until the tank pressure gauge displays a reading of 0 psi or 0 bar. Release the safety valve ring and verify that the system regulator is completely closed. Turn the system on and measure the time it takes to pump from 0 to 120 psi or 8 bar. The maximum acceptable pump-up time varies based on the frequency of your system, and the specifications for all frequencies can be found in the operating and maintenance manual. Your June-Air 87R system is now ready to be put back into service. Like any high-performance equipment, regular service and the use of genuine parts are essential to keeping your compressor system running at its optimal performance. Thank you for choosing June-Air products. For more information, visit www.june-air.com.